All right, y'all. I think we good. I think we good to go. Let's get the show started. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning and tapping into another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping into episode 271. It's a lot of episodes. We wouldn't have got this far without y'all love and support. And continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell. It does help with the growth of the show. Also, we have memberships. Take advantage of the memberships. Again, don't forget to continue to engage. I drop videos daily, whether they're videos, whether they're shorts. I've been seeing y'all engagement. The engagement has been going up. I do talk to you in the chat, especially if you're giving great perspective, whether you agree or disagree with my own, as long as it's, the perspective makes sense, I should say. If you're trolling, then obviously I'm going to either delete it or just won't respond at all. Just leave you on red. But again, I appreciate all the support. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We just hit 14,000 subscribers, y'all. 14,000. That is what's up. And I thank y'all for y'all support. Thank you. Your growing support. Thank you. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps. You get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. A stain is somebody that try to be negative or try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Hate does have a location. It's just not here. And let's get the show started. No further ado. First segment of the night, popular opinion. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat before I forget. Yeah, shout out to the chat. Chat is in here. And shout out to shout out a couple people, not every single person, but shout out to y'all in the chat. Shout out to King P, one of our day ones. Big badge holders, had his badge for over 2 years, man. Appreciate you, King P. Shout out to Ebony in the building. Shout out to Shay in the building. Don't forget to like and sub. Okay, shout out to Shay. Okay, that's love. That's love, Shay. Shout out to Hazel in the building. Make sure y'all tap into that music by Hazel. Hit it. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Keyshaw in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love, man. We got true day ones in the building. We got true badge holders in the building. So again, I appreciate y'all as always in showing major love and help with the growth of the show. Seriously. And y'all don't forget to hit the likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. And again, if this is your first time tuning and tapping in, I am Ashley Lovechild, and this is the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. All right, y'all, with no further ado, first segment of the night, popular opinions. Y'all already know these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the question. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of, no, what am I talking about? OUV Records. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records. Stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all tap into OUV Records on Instagram. All right, y'all. First question of the night. Popular opinions, right? First question of the night. Best state to buy a home in. Best state to buy a home in. Number one, North Carolina. Number two, Texas. Number three, Florida. Number four, Georgia. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the question is best state to buy a home in. Best state to buy a home in. Again, number one is North Carolina. Number two is Texas. Number three is Florida. Number four is Georgia. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I've been to all of these places. I looked in all of these places. And For me, obviously, I live in Florida, so that answers that question, right? So I'm gonna go with Florida, and then not too much longer ago, Ron DeSantis has passed where once you buy your home, once you pay, you pay for your home, once you pay off, your 30-year, your 20-year mortgage, whatever the mortgage that you choose to embark in, right? You don't have to pay any more your property taxes. That's your home, but that has to be your main dwelling for you not to pay property tax on that home. Now, obviously, if you own several homes, obviously, then you got to pay the property tax. But your main dwelling, your home, you don't have to pay any more property tax. So for me, it's Florida, and then Florida, I like the style of Florida houses. Like I said, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and a lot of our houses is like big, it's grandioso, and I'm talking about the houses that are houses, right? The pitiful houses in New York City right now is going for like 500,000, 600,000. Pitiful, like pitiful looking, I should say. They may be like big inside, but they're pitiful looking. I'm just gonna be. They're not like, oh my God, you live here type of thing, right? Florida has like these one floor ranches, and it's high. It got high ceilings. It's just something beautiful when you come to Florida. Now I will say this: in Texas, they overbuild in Texas. So in Texas, you get, I mean, like they really hook your house up as far as size. If you think you're getting something big in Florida, you're going to get something even bigger in Texas because they overbuild. In Georgia, they also overbuild in Georgia, right? But they don't have the same property tax laws as Florida, right? So North Carolina is interesting. North Carolina is a good place too, mainly because they have a lower cost of living in North Carolina. Um, just simple upkeep makes it different. So me, I'm going with Florida on this list. And in chat, I'm also seeing Florida on this list. Shout out to my dog Tom, one of our day ones, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. Ashley chat family, stay blessed and balanced in life. Appreciate that, my brother. The shout out to New York, but I will never live in New York City. What's a great place to visit? It's New York City is a good place to visit. You have you a good time, and then it's time to go back home. Like I'm born and raised Brooklyn. I've done everything that needs to be done in all of New York City. I don't want to live there. I like, and then mind you, me personally, I wouldn't. And I'm not saying that as a brag. I'm saying that like this is legit. I would make more money living in New York, but I'd rather live in Florida and get the quality of life that I get. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just different. Food is different. The energy is different. You know, stuff, convenient stuff like parking is different. Even in Texas, Texas is different. All these other places is way different from New York, but New York is not on the list for a reason, right? Because that's not a great place to buy a home. So, but so yeah, so again, the question is best state to buy a home. Number one, North Carolina. Number two, Texas. Number three, Florida. Number four is Georgia. Again, I went with Florida. The chat went with Florida. 44%, 82,000 people voted on this. Went with Texas. They went with Texas. I'm not surprised. Like I told you, Texas overbuild their homes. And what do that mean? So let's say, for example, in New York City, you get you a house roughly about 2,000 square feet. That would, let's say 2,000 square feet will probably be 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and that will run you somewhere from like 450 to 600, depending on the area, of course. Now, if Bay Ridge, that goes up. If we're talking about Flatbush, that's still very high, but and it also depends on brownstones. Brownstones is very high in Brooklyn, regardless of area, because brownstones is a proven commodity. So it's just different right now. Now, if you look at Florida, that same 2,000 square feet, 3 bathroom, 2 bedroom. I mean, it's Florida prices is nowhere near as impressive as it was, years ago, but even that will run you about 350 to 400, especially depending on the area. You look at Vero Beach, you look at Cocoa, Palm Bay, Melbourne. You know, you look in those type of areas, certain places in Jacksonville, Tampa. You find you a nice house for that, for that price range. So it really depends, and the house will be bigger. I mean, the 2,000 square feet feels bigger. It feels cleaner, and you'll get a pool with that, and you'll get a driveway with that. In Brooklyn, you might get a driveway, but the driveway is very like narrow and like it's little. You can only fit a car in there, like car size. Like if you got like you a sedan, it's just very narrow. So in Florida, you have much more bigger car space, obviously. And in Texas, like I said, they overbuild that 2,000. So instead of 2,000 square feet, you probably get 2,150, which makes a difference, and you pay the same price. Same thing with Georgia, so that's what makes it different. Love North Carolina. Shout out to Arizona, Texas, and Houston is nice too. Yeah, like I said, I've been to North Carolina. North Carolina is nice. You get a nice spot in North Carolina. Arizona, Texas, Texas is popping. Houston is you could get you probably one of the cheapest houses you'll find in Texas and Houston. The only problem with Houston is that they're in a flood zone. That's the only problem with Houston. But you could get you, y'all can look it up right now. Like y'all can get you a 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom for like 400 in Texas. The same prices that people are paying in New York City and more. You get that in Texas, and we talk you like your house is big, and you're gonna have some sort of like grandiose driveway. Like it's gonna be fly, and you're gonna have a pool in the back. Like it's just different in Texas. Different in Texas. Different in Texas. So I try, yeah, y'all brought up some interesting points in the chat, but no, I agree. I agree, but again, I'm staying with Florida, obviously because I live in Florida. But the chat, excuse me, the rest of the world went with Texas. Texas is a good place to buy a home because they do overbuild. So that's probably why the rest of the world went with Texas. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next popular opinion question. Biggest New York City sports brand. Excuse me, biggest New York City sports team brand. Biggest New York City sports team brand. Number one, the Brooklyn Nets. Number two, New York Knicks. Number three, the New York Giants. Number four, New York Yankees. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Biggest New York City sports team brand on this list. Again, number one, Brooklyn Nets. Number two, the New York Knicks. Number three, the New York Giants. Number four, the New York Yankees. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. All these teams are very big in New York City, but this is how I'm gonna break it down. The biggest team in New York City, and let's not be a prisoner of the moment. It's the New York Yankees. It's the New York Yankees. It's the New York Yankees. No matter how you slice it, it's the New York Yankees. They're actually in the city. They're actually in the Bronx. Those games are always packed. And the franchise in itself is one of the best franchises in baseball history. They have like 20 something championships. That's a lot of championships. They have a lot of championships. They are the biggest sports brand in New York City, hands down. The Yankee fitted is synonymous all over the world. The Yankee fitted, synonymous all over the world. I've been to quite a few places, quite a few. No matter where I go, you can find a New York fitted. I've been to California. I've seen New York fitteds in black. I've seen New York fitteds in red. I've seen New York Fitteds, not in the classic navy blue, but in royal blue. Is the New York Yankees. Now the New York Knicks, because they won the chip. Right now, they hot as fish grease. I will say that they are hot as fish grease. I'm not a hater, even though I'm not a fan. Y'all see where I'm at with it. I'm not a hater. They hot as fish grease, but they are one of the worst franchises in terms of being ran in NBA history. Period. Is recently they've improved their management, which led to them improving their team, and now they're champions. So you can't hate on that. I can't hate on that. But we can't dismiss the decades of what the hell are we watching here? And they're in a big market, which matters. And that's a part of the rivalry with Boston and New York, where Boston market is nowhere near a New York market or a Manhattan market. But Boston's been winning championships. Their focus has been on championships. The Lakers, their focus has been on championships. So it's been a poorly ran franchise up until this point. They've made a turnaround for sure. But they're not the biggest team brand in New York City. They're the hottest right now for sure. They just won the championship. And it's going crazy. Isn't it crazy? It's orange and blue skies in New York City right now. That's for sure. That's for sure. I'm not a hater, right? The New York Giants. People love the New York Giants in New York, but the problem is they're not in New York. They're in New Jersey. They're in New Jersey, but you got real diehard New York Giant fans in New York. They swear about New York, and honestly, the New York Giant franchise is probably the second. They're probably the second biggest New York City brand in New York City. New York Yankees, the New York Giants. Then it's definitely the New York Knicks. Brooklyn Nets, we're not because we're much newer. We're a newer franchise. But let's keep this all the way a buck. We're big in Brooklyn. We're big in Brooklyn. And because we're a newer fan base, the games are packed out. Let's not like you do your research. The games are 99% packed out, no matter how you slice it. No matter how you slice it, but it's still a new franchise. Still a new franchise. We've only been in Brooklyn, what's it, 2012? Like, let's keep this a buck. But we're very big brand wise. I've gone to different places. I've gone to Texas, California, uh, 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 other countries. I've been to several different places, Atlanta, Georgia, all types of different states, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, South, Midwest. I've been all over the place. And I can always find Brooklyn Nets memorabilia. Always. I can always find a Brooklyn Nets hat. Always. So even though we're not the biggest sports team in New York City, globally, the Brooklyn Nets, we on a whole nother level globally because our brand is the brand. Anywhere I go, I could find Yankees, Brooklyn Nets, excuse me, Dallas Cowboys, Michigan, and the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't look for this stuff. It's just there. Biggest brands that you could think of. Period. So that's how I'm breaking this down. So me personally, I'm gonna say the New York Yankees. Shout out to my dog Tom, the Jets, or the the Jets, or the Jets, or the real New York team. The Jets or the real New York team. The Jets or and the Jets or the real New York team. Now, I tell you one thing: any team that moves inside New York City, they will take over New York City. They will take over New York City, whether it's the Jets or the Giants. If they came in New York City, the city would get right behind it. It's crazy like that. So yeah, but New York is very territorial. Y'all gotta understand. the Yankees is big in New York, of course, but the Yankees been around, and that's what I'm saying. Time matters. The Yankees have been around since like 19 something. Like they've been around, bro. They've been around. The Knicks have been around. Like this, these are not new teams. They're not new teams. The youngest team that matters in sports world in New York City is the Brooklyn Nets. They're the youngest team. They haven't even been there a long time. So the teams that are established the longest are the biggest sports team brand. Uh, because back in the day when they had the Big East, they held in the Big East in Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. David Stern was trying to make New York Knicks the Knicks of LA of the East Coast. Yeah, but like everything that we do that's popping in New York City is not at MSG like that. Like they have the drive at Brooklyn. They've been having a drive at Brooklyn. This is like this has been going on and on. They used to have the drive at at MSG. And I'm not a hater. I'm not dissing the Knicks. They won their thing. They do their thing. Cool. But we're talking about brand. They've been there a long time. The New York Knicks brand is huge in New York City, but they're not the biggest brand. The biggest brand is the Yankees. Period. Hands down. It's, and then people don't realize how much winning affects your franchise. If you win, you get more fans. The Yankees win this thing. I remember when I was in high school, they won 3 out of the 4 years I was in high school. 3 out of the 4 years. This is a part of the Yankees, makeup. So me again, I'm going with the Yankees in the chat. I'm seeing the Knicks, and uh I'm also seeing the Yankees as well. So I saw the Knicks and I saw the Yankees as well too. So again, I'm going with the Yankees. The chat, uh, I'm seeing Knicks and Yankees. Yeah, y'all really underestimating how big the Giants fan base is in New York City. That's a rabid base. The New York Giant fans, they're not as all right. So the reason why the Knicks fans look like it was crazy because it's been a long time. The world has never seen this in a minute, right? It's been a long time since we've seen it. When people pulling off jerseys and stuff like that. The Yankees win too much to pull people jerseys off. The Giants have won at least what 4 Super Bowls, 3 to 4 Super Bowls. They win too much to do that. So you see what I'm saying? Even though the Knicks got 3, but the Giants, it seems like they get theirs incrementally. You know what I mean? So, okay. All right. So, all right. So, again, biggest New York City sports brands. Number 1 was Brooklyn Nets. Number 2 was New York Knicks. Number 3 was the New York Giants. Number 4, the Yankees in the chat. I seen heavily Yankees and Knicks. The rest of the world at 39%, mind y'all, 161,000 people voted on this. Went with the New York Yankees. Not surprised. They went with the New York Yankees. Shout out to my dog Tom. Winning. He said winning cause hate too. Yeah, you rather win and get the hate, or would you rather be loved than be a loser? Nah, give me the hate, bro. Hate these rings. Hate the rings. And when you're a winner, it's just a part of the makeup. I I don't believe people hate the Lakers because they win. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think because the Lakers win, it looks cool when the Lakers win, to be honest with you. If you notice, the Lakers, they don't draft well like that. Like I want to say that they sometimey when it comes to the draft. They don't use the draft to really build their team because they're a destination brand, right? People want to go to the Lakers. When you hear great players and they're finally free agents, they always got the Lakers like, yo, I could be a Laker, bro. Because it's the bright lights, it's the allure, it's being a Laker. It's a destination place. So the Lakers, if you think about it, they don't really build their team through a draft. They would trade them picks. They like F them picks, right? The Knicks haven't been a destination place. The Knicks have been like a dumpster fire where you have great players who are past their prime and then they come to the Knicks. Outside of obviously Melo, outside of Amari Stoudemire, and obviously Jalen Brunson, but majority of the guys on why the Knicks used to struggle, guys were past their prime, and of course Stephon Marbury was still in his prime. But when you get people forget Anthony Hardaway, people forget Steve Francis. I mean, they had a long list of guys that was past their prime. LJ was past his prime, but he helped the team win. But they lost in the championship. So they had a history of doing that. So terrible owner, by the way. But again, I have to give them their props. And then again with the New York Giants, they're such like a. It's just the Giants are such a weird sports organization, but people love the Giants in New York City, bro. They love the Giants. They love the Giants, bro. And it's crazy. I think Boston, and there's such a rivalry between Boston and New York. Baseball is the only sport where they could tell Boston, like, yo, y'all need to keep y'all cool and shut the hell up. Cause they got more chips. The Knicks don't have more chips than the Celtics. The Patriots got more chips than the Giants and the Jets. It's combined. Like, y'all need to keep it cool over here. So I mean, and they're the smaller market. So uh, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Give me that hate. He said, "Give me that hate." You are exactly right. I'd rather be Tom Brady than Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I'd rather be Tom Brady than Eli. And I thought Eli was mediocre at best. To be honest with you, mediocre at best. Eli, majority of his career had been very terrible. He was very terrible. Threw a lot of picks. He threw for a lot of yards, but a lot of picks. They didn't win a lot of games with Eli, but he has two serious runs, legendary runs, and they won those chips, and you can't take that away from him. But the rest of his career, very mediocre. So I'd definitely rather be Tom Brady than Eli, easily, easily. So and the Boston Celtics could say the same thing about the Knicks. So hey, all right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our barbershop talk for this segment. Again, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping and hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. And we continue to grow. We just hit 14,000 subscribers, and it's because of y'all. Y'all spreading the word, y'all spreading that love, y'all spreading that energy, and I appreciate your support. I drop videos daily, and I've been seeing y'all engagements and the comments in the video. So again, I appreciate that as well. All right, y'all. So our barbershop talk for this episode is: there's a woman that went viral, and she was saying that brothers, and y'all know what I mean by brothers, because I hate saying the word black, because that's not what we are. We're not three-fifths of a person or a human being. We're not mud, we're not dirty, we're not none of that bullshit. So, the brothers, there's a woman that went viral that said brothers don't are not attracted to women with their natural hair. I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, a woman goes viral saying that brothers are not attracted to sisters with their natural hair. Again, I would love to know what y'all think about that in the chat. Why is that? It shouldn't have been spelled like that. That was okay. No, that was right. I got that right. Okay, cool. I got that. I want to make sure that I got the whole thing right. So yeah, the video went viral, and it was very disappointing watching her speak on something that obviously it came off very bitter. And to me, it came off very bitter because she's speaking for herself. She's not speaking for us as men, for one, and two, all sisters don't feel the same way that she felt. And three, like these are blanket statements based on her personal experiences that It's just disrespectful, and it gives a misleading ideal that us as brothers are not attracted to our women with their natural hair. That is just categorically wrong. It's categorically wrong. So when I heard her speaking about this, I'm like, yeah, nah. And and I've seen several other men speak up on this particular topic in the past. And it's like she obviously didn't hear the men speak in the past regarding this. There are men who prefer women to be whatever that they choose to cook up, right? Whether it's going to be the makeup, the fake breast, the fake ass. Some guys don't care, right? Some guys. That's not half, and that's not all. Me personally, I prefer natural women. When I date somebody, I let them know straight up, hey, you don't need that eye, all that gunk in your eye. I see your natural self. I love your natural beauty. And I see the change. Next time they get around me, they won't wear as much makeup. Or they would, do something with their hair, a natural hairstyle. So as men, when you're dating women, and whatever your preference is, let that be known when you're dating and when you're together. Because the last thing a woman wants is for her to be dating you and she feels like you're not attracted to her. And there's ways to show a woman that you're attracted to her. And it's very easy. So, and as a man and as men, I think we do a good job saying how we feel. But there's some women out here. See how I don't generalize this for all women, but there's some women out here, like this lady right here, that didn't get the memo that we prefer natural. When men say naturally fit, we mean we don't need you to go get your body done. We need you to work out. And the thing when men say naturally fit, be the best version of yourself. I hate when a woman says, "Oh, I can't be a size one." Nobody asked you to be a size one or a size two, but be a better version of yourself that you are right now. Don't be sloppy. Don't be sitting up here eating chips and cookies in the bed and late at night, knowing damn well that you're not going to recover from that. Knowing your belly is bigger than your butt. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. If you got a man that wants that, then cool. But nobody wants that. And if you care about the attraction from your guy, not all men, from your guy, the guy that you want, if you care about his attraction to you, then it matters. I hate when women say, oh, we got to stop tying what men think and into our beauty. That matters because you want men. You want the guy that you want to be attracted to you the way you're attracted to him. And it goes vice versa. For guys, the women that we want, we getting ready for the women that we want. So now when we roll up on her, she can't give us no excuse. We're gonna roll up with the nice chest and the nice abs and the nice arms. We're gonna do that. We're gonna make sure that we look good and we look nice. Our breath smelling good. We smelling good and we feeling nice. We do that. That's the part of the reason why guys get nice cars, get a nice home. Cause why? Cause the women that we like, they like the look of that too. So of course it matters. Don't look for excuses to be mediocre. So if you have a guy that likes natural fit bodies, that's what he means. Being the best version of yourself and continue to be the best version of yourself. And when the guys say natural look, yo, he wants you to be natural. No makeup. If he prefer no makeup and you care about his opinion, then don't rock no makeup. If you want him to be attracted to you, then that shit matters. Now, if you turn around and be like, yo, you attracted to this guy because he has nice whatever you think is nice on that guy, it's gonna matter to him because he gonna want you to be attracted to him. He gonna get up and go bust a couple laps around the block. He gonna get up and bust a couple push-ups or whatever he has to do to achieve the goal, so that way he can step out and feel good about himself when he's with his woman. So y'all stepping out together. That's why that matters. So when you have some women that echo this craziness, I they obviously didn't get the memo. And you hear me say some women. I didn't say all, I said some. Some women did not get the memo. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat, man. I missed a couple, a couple. I missed a couple. Shout out to the chat though. So shout out to my dog Tom. I just watched Eli get into the Hall of Fame because Tom Brady beat in New England twice, but the Hall of Fame is about being Tom Brady and about your numbers. Yeah, I think he's gonna make it into the Hall of Fame, but I don't think he should make it to the Hall of Fame. Talking about Eli Manning, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I have seen that video, and she just generalized. He said, "Congratulations." Uh, as a brother, there's nothing better than a sister with natural hair. I agree more. Now, I even like women when they do have their hair braided. I don't mind the extension when the hair is braided. I don't mind that. But outside of that, I'm not big on. I hate a wig. Yeah, I can't rock. I can't rock with it. No hair helmets over here. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel. No hair helmets over here. If I catch a woman that I'm dating rocking a wig and then on top of that she throw a hat on top, like whoa, I'm not living right. I'm not. I'm like I'm looking at you different because you know what I prefer. I'm attracted to this. If you care about my view on being attracted to you, then hey, get it together. I'd rather a woman with with short hair and style that motherfucker. I'd rather that. Like I ain't gonna hold you. When I was a kid, my biggest crushes was Halle Berry, was T. Boz. They kept short haircuts. It was Tony Braxton. Y'all seen Tony Braxton when she first came out? Oh my goodness. I was a little boy like, hey, my mother like, I see you looking at Tony. I'm like, I'm saying though, Tony looking, you know what I mean? So, and me personally, I've always been like that. I just like a naturally fit woman, naturally hair woman, me personally. I'm just saying, take off the dinosaur eyelashes, all that makeup. Learns to eat something a little bit more healthier than fried chicken and then Chinese food. Eat some avocados, broccoli. And like their pH balance. Some of those women pH balance be all off. Some of them their pH balance be all the way off. I feel you on that. Again, but we're talking about some. We're not saying all. This woman talking about all brothers don't like natural hair women that are sisters, which is ridiculous. Shout out to Tom actually give me the New York lingo and swag, my brother. You preach it. Nah, but it's very true. Like we can't be misled when we have people being outspoken like this and it gains traction because this is not real. This is not real. And when some women say this, it goes to their mediocre mindset. It's a mediocre mindset. And why is it a mediocre mindset? It's because you're giving yourself excuses. Maybe you're just not that attractive, or you're not as attractive as you think you are. So again, you have to focus. You have to focus if it matters on getting attraction from the men you want. Not all men, from the men you want. You gotta sit down and you gotta focus. Say like with men, right? When we want a certain woman, we have to sit down and focus and be like, what do we need to do to achieve that? Maybe I gotta get my money up. Maybe I gotta get my body right. I gotta get in the gym. I gotta get a gym membership. Maybe I just gotta take care of myself a little different so that way I can stand out more. I have a friend, and I don't want to veer off the subject too hard. I have a friend that wears very loud colors. And one day it was just like it was eating at me. I was like, bro, like your colors is like really like loud. And you got on the croc, you know. I don't want to say what he had on, but it's just like it was like whoa, right? I'm like, yo, bro, like that's your real get down. He was like, yeah, because this is what make me stand out. And when he said it, I got it. It didn't matter that the colors was loud. It didn't matter what he was wearing as long as he stood out. And when he stands out and he wear the clothes that he wears, women would come up to him and be like, damn, you got that on? You see what I'm saying? It'll be like some cheetah print, uh, 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 again, I don't want to go too far into it, but it's something that's so out of the box. That's how he get his attention. And as a dude, I get it because men, us as men, all men don't have the same superpower. Some men have, aesthetically pleasing faces, bodies, right? Smiles, a conversation, smell good, look good as far as clothes. All have different type of superpowers, right? Some of us may have a little couple dollars. Some of us have a whole bunch of money. Whatever the superpower that man wills for himself, he's going to use it to gain attention from the woman that he wants, the woman that he's trying to get. That's why that matters. So you got to sit down and you got to focus. You got to sit down and focus. Actually, these females got to get rid of that hair cap. Now that's what I'm saying. Like I've seen, like even when I go to, and it's crazy. Like stores matter. So when I go to Publix, I don't see ratchetness in Publix. I don't know. I don't know what it is about Publix, but I don't see ratchetness in Publix. Walmart, on the other hand, oh Lord, I will see the wig with the fitted cap on top of the wig. It's like, yo, you got a wig on. Why do you need a fitted on top of the wig? Which is crazy. And you see the ratchet, even the clothes ass be all out the, or just all out the thing, all out the thing. You want somebody to say hello to you. Publix, it just, it may be gym fit, but the gym fit, it just comes off a little different in Publix. So maybe the stores that we go to, it matters. Like you're gonna see the hair hat for sure. Uh, I've been natural for 10 years, and my man has cheered me on every step of the way, from my big chop to my locks. That's lit. Shout out to Ebony. That's lit. Shout out to Ebony. That is lit. And see, that's what I'm talking about. When we say that again, it's not a generalized thing for all men, because again, you have some men that's down for whatever as long as it looks good to them, right? So some men don't care if you get breast augmentation. Some men don't care if you get your butt done. Some men don't care if you get your body done. Some men don't care if you wear makeup and hair hats as long as it looks good to them. But to say that we're not attracted to naturally hair women, fit women, it's categorically wrong. Categorically wrong. And we've been saying that. Some men, and the reason why some men accept it is because for them, that's the last thing they want to argue about. That's the last thing they want to argue about. They like, I don't even care. Like, just look good and bring your ass in here. I don't even care. Some men think like that. And that's part of the reason, because that's the last thing that they want to argue about. Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all going in the chat, man. Loving the chat, man. Loving the chat. I missed that. I missed that. Okay, let me go back up. Trying to get y'all stuff. I believe men love peace, women love validation and attention. That's a fact. All women want validation and attention, for sure. For sure. For sure. Women is like, yo, F your peace. I'm your peace. Now you can't be my peace. I remember I had an ex tell me, yo, I should be your peace. I literally laughed for like 8 minutes straight when she said that. And she was like, yo, what's so funny though? I'm like, yo, that statement is ridiculous. You can never be my peace. You know what I'm saying? Never. You never be my peace, because there's no way you can be my peace. There's no way. And it's not necessarily a woman thing. There's no way your peace is another person. There's no way, because now that other person becomes your master. If their emotion dictate how your output is, they become your master. Can't be like that. No, can't be like that. No, no, no. You're supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be happy, and we're supposed to come into this thing happy. I can't make you happy. I can't control you. I'm not going to maintain you. I'm not going to what's the other word? Manage you. I'm not going to handle you. I hate that. Oh, you can't. I hate that. I hate that word, handle. Why somebody got to handle you? What are you, a dog? Now, when I say that, oh, I ain't say I'm a dog, but damn, like, and I'm a very aggressive individual myself. I'm very aggressive. So I'm not gonna handle nobody. So the fact that we gotta go out of our way to address these things because these are misnomers, categorically wrong. Categorically wrong, y'all. Categorically wrong. Shout out to the chat, y'all. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. And we just went over 14,000 subscribers. And again, I appreciate your support. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must see segment, our Eddie Murphy Awards. Normally, I do 3 movies. I have 2 movies I want y'all to check out. So my first Eddie Murphy Award goes to a movie that came out in 1991, directed by Stan Dragata. This movie stars Scott Bulka, Evander Holyfield, Sinbad, Kathy Ireland, and Rob Snyder. This movie is called Necessary Roughness. This movie is so hilarious and it still holds up to this day. It's about a it- excuse me, it's about a former football player, former athlete that's been asked by the coaches to come back to play college football, and it's such a funny movie. And mind you, he watched the rest of the movie. Like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all. So again, make sure y'all tap in to see Necessary Roughness. And my second Eddie Murphy award goes to a movie that came out in 1997, directed by Rondell Miller. This movie stars Marlon Wayans, Kadeem Hardison, Michael Michael Michelle. Hope I said her name right, because that's a woman, might I add, Michael Michelle, and and she played in New Jack City, Nino Brown's girlfriend, and David Paymer. This movie is called The Sixth Man. Fire must see movie. Marlon Wayans to me is a much better actor overall than a comedian. Me personally, I just like his presence as an actor. And in this movie, him and Kadeem Hardison, amazing. They play brothers. They're college basketball players, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. It's such a good movie. So make sure y'all tap in to see The Sixth Man. So again, my Eddie Murphy Award movies tonight are Necessary Roughness, and The Sixth Man. Make sure y'all tap into those movies. Absolute fire movies. All right, y'all. Moving on to our must hear, our Michael Jackson awards. I'm gonna give y'all 3 fire songs to tap into, and it's by a profile artist tonight. Y'all know how I do, whether it's new or old, whether it's hip hop, R&B, or reggae, or any type of other culture. This is going to be fire music or genre, I should say. So my profile artist for tonight, reggae legend Buju Banton, fire music. So my first Michael Jackson award goes to his song Buju Banton, Driver. Oh my God, if you know, you know, it's a classic. You can't be at a party in Brooklyn without hearing Driver. Second Michael Jackson award song, Buju Banton, Champion. Fire, 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 classic. It's like this is a true life. These are true life classics right here. And my third Michael Jackson award goes to his song, excuse me, Bonafide Lover. Bonafide Love, excuse me, Bonafide Love. Fire song, one of my favorite Buju Banton songs, if not my favorite. Fire songs. Again, make sure y'all tap into Buju Banton if you've never heard of him, or if you have, put these on your list. Again, first Michael Jackson award is Driver. My second Michael Jackson award goes to his song Champion, and my third Michael Jackson award goes to his song Bonafide Love. Make sure y'all check out Buju Banton. Fire reggae artist. He's a legend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you know, you know. All right, y'all. Don't forget to hit them likes. Don't forget to hit them 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. All right, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. We're about to get on that flight and send them to Turkey or no. Again, send them to Turkey or no. Y'all know the rules of the game. We type in T to send it to Turkey, or we type in N not to send it to Turkey. When people say and do crazy things, we send them to Turkey or no. So again, y'all already know. So the first one of the night JP and Morgan Chase, excuse me, JP and Morgan Chase fired an executive director, a director after a viral video has shown her dumping litter onto a Manhattan sidewalk to steal a custom painted Knicks themed public trash can during the team's championship parade. Media reports that the professional profile confirms that I believe her name is Angie Baez, and uh, she has a prominent background as a diversity, equity, and inclusion executive. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending her to Turkey or not? Again, are we sending her to Turkey or not? Let me know what you think about that in the chat. So the video in itself, the footage do capture Baez emptying the mountains of garbage directly onto the street because the theme colored painted New York Knicks garbage can. She just had to have that, right? So she walks away with the blue and orange city owned container as the parade has gone on. Subsequently, obviously they got her on, they got her pictures, showed her taking the stolen municipal property. So now when they start using big words like municipal property all together, you're gonna have hell on your hand. And because we live in a time where everything is caught on camera, they're gonna get at that ass. So the recovery of the New York City Department Sanitation successfully recovered that actual can from her, and because of that, they found out she worked for J.P. and Morgan, and immediately they terminated her from her role as the executive director of community and industry engagement, which is crazy. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are you sending her to Turkey or not? Are you sending her to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I'm sending her all the way to Turkey. I'm sending her all the way to Turkey. Like I get the excitement. I get it. Your team wins. You've never seen them win. I'm guessing this lady has to be somewhere 50 and younger. The Knicks haven't won the championship in 53 years. I get it. The last time they won the championship, the average rent in New York City was literally $175. Literally. The average rent in all of New York City was $175. I get it. But like you can't put yourself at risk because when you work for companies, you're always going to be a representation of those companies. Not just yourself, not just your family, but those companies. And she did herself a very big disservice. And mind you, the type of job that she held really helped the community in that regard. So now you sacrifice because you it was crazy. She was put in position because she was known to make great decisions. Where was her discernment and great decision doing this? You know how dirty a New York City trash can is? And just because it's new and it's painted, you still that like you could have bought your own trash can at the $1.99 store and had it painted blue, orange, and white. Could have had that. Could have got a New York Knicks logo or get a sticker or something like that and stamped it on your garbage can. You could have easily did that yourself. And it would have been much cheaper, might I add, and you would have never lost your job. Like I get the excitement, I get it. And you've seen New York City go crazy. You've seen people in New York City that set a school bus on fire, walking with the hood of the school bus over the hood of the school bus. But a lot of those people that was doing that, they may not have nothing to lose. You did. You had a very prominent job and it cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars because I'm pretty sure her salary was very competitive when you worked for JP and Morgan and you have that sort of position. So your finances and your contract with that company is going to be very competitive. And what that means is going to be a six-figure salary, high six-figure salary. And you jeopardize that because you didn't show the proper judgment in this moment. I get it. I get it. But this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? I'm sending her all the way to Turkey. First class flight. First class flight, excuse me. Sending her all the way to Turkey. This makes no sense. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. But it makes no sense. Why put yourself in that position regardless? Like it was something that I never even thought about. Like my mother, she worked for the Supreme Court of New York for over 35 years. And what I realized in that time period, my mother has never gotten into a situation that led her to be arrested, right? And I just thought my mom was just being a good mom, right? And because as a kid, we don't look at our parents as man and woman, right? We just look at our mothers as mothers. We don't look at them as a woman, somebody with a feelings. We don't look at our dads as men and not we only look at them as dad, like they should never mess up, right? And I was like, damn, my mother never got arrested, yo. That's what's up. And she had addressed it. She said, I made sure I never stayed in nothing that could have led me anywhere. Mainly because I work for a place. If I get arrested, I could lose my job. I said, Ma, I never knew that. She was like, yeah, yeah, I seen that. I'm out. I'm going. It's enough. It's enough just working. So and that's a very prestigious position, so that's what um struck me immediately when I see that. Due to her excitement, cost her her job, her prestige, her name. And was it worth it? Was it worth it? I don't think it was worth it for her. And she just looked crazy out here. Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all going in the chat. What do you say in the chat? Y'all going in the chat, man. Hold on, let me get this thing right on the chat. All right, so the chat, they saying hold up, what did I say? She took bringing your work home with the way too literally. Yo, y'all stupid. Imagine having to explain your next employer why you was fired from JP Morgan Chase. A six-figure salary over public garbage. It's an all-time legendary crash out. Uh, play stupid games, stupid prizes. Epic tune. Oh, you're talking about the okay, that was the last segment. Yeah, yeah. So it's like yo, she really put herself at risk. She really put herself at risk. I'm sending her to Turkey. Obviously, y'all flaming her in the chat, so the chat is sending her to Turkey. She got to go to Turkey. She's going to Turkey because that is crazy. All right, so moving on to our second one with sending to Turkey or not. Sending to Turkey or not. Again, we type in T to send it to Turkey, or we type it in not to send it to Turkey. Second one of the night, the NFL has canceled the supplemental draft featuring quarterback Brendan Sorsby. Uh, this was a very big thing moving forward. The NFL stands on quarterback Brendan Sorsby under the collective bargaining agreement (CBA). The league, excuse me, why that cut off? Okay, so the key cutting off. The lead retains sole discretion. It cut off again, y'all. Sorry about that. The league contains sole discretion over whether to hold supplemental draft. So the supplemental, for people that don't understand NFL rules, the supplemental draft doesn't have to go. It's not a thing that's just given. They can do it or they don't have to do it. So that's what they're saying. They hold sole discretion on even having a supplemental draft. They don't have to have it. Because of Sorsby was the only player to apply this year. He's the only player. The league chose to cancel it entirely. The NFL sent a letter to Sorsby noting that his late petition did not give them enough time to investigate his extensive collegiate gambling background. So if you know, or if you don't know, he admitted to gambling hundreds of times on games that he played in, other games he didn't play in, and all different type of fields. So he's have an issue with gambling. He recently transferred from one school to the next, which I think was to his demise because the school that he was at, they was trying to keep it on the wraps, but of course when you start transferring, things come out. He transferred to Texas Tech. Now Texas Tech is heavily favored. People really look at Brendan Sorsby as a really talented quarterback, and they held him in high regard. But because of these, gambling things or situations that he has admitted to, now it makes things tricky in the coming season. So now Texas Tech is basically forced to dismiss him from the team because other teams don't want to play against a player that has a history of that could affect the integrity of the game and the outcome of the game in such a negative way where kids are playing and gambling in games that they're playing in, and that could cause a multitude of problems. If y'all ever seen the movie The Last Boy Scout, y'all see what I'm talking about regarding this in this particular. Uh, Also, the NFL has mentioned that Sorsby was ruled permanently ineligible by the NCAA, right? After admitting to placing thousands, I said hundreds, thousands of sports bets, totaling roughly 90,000, some of which were placed on his own team while or at Indiana. So remember, he also went to Indiana before he ended up going to, I believe Sorsby was at Cincinnati, and then he transferred to Texas Tech. So because of his gambling past, and you've been dismissed from college because of the gambling, even if you went to get help, this is the NFL. This is the NFL. You play quarterback, bro. You directly affect the outcome of the game. Let's say he made a team and all the quarterbacks ahead of him got hurt. Now he plays. You have to worry about how he's going to play. Is he playing for real or if he's playing bad? And mind you, he's a decent player. He's not a top quarterback prospect, in my opinion. If he was in this year's draft, I honestly, I don't see. I have a fourth grade. Excuse me. I have a fourth round grade on him, maybe even fifth round. He's not impressive. When the last year I seen him play at Cincinnati, he was all right. He wasn't impressive. He wasn't like, damn, they got a ball on their head. I have to be honest when I say that. Um, but maybe a part of that was due to him gambling. Maybe he said, "Yeah, I'm not gonna throw for 300 yards because I placed a bet where I throw under 300, or I placed a bet where instead of us having 300 yards total as an offense, I bet that we at 290. So I'm gonna stay at 220 just to be safe because anything can happen in the game, right?" And now you're dealing with the NFL. The NFL. Yeah, nah. So the NFL is saying that they want to keep the integrity of their sport and obviously their brand away from that because it could affect their brand, which I don't blame them on that. I don't blame them. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to protect their brand. At the end of the day, these are their rules to play. You want to play in their league. You want to play in their league. They didn't ask you to play in their league. So that's what it is. So the overall status of this is coming down to in 2026 as a season, he is deemed ineligible. He cannot play in the NFL or sign as a free agent with any team this fall. So what they're saying basically, he can't play, can't sign, and on top of that, they're going to do their own internal investigation regarding this matter moving forward. But they did say he could be eligible if the lead, excuse me, for 2027 NFL draft. The lead decision leaves 2027 next April. Sorsby primary path to enter the league. So basically, they're saying next year you have a pathway to enter in the league, and within that time frame from this year to next, we're going to do our investigation. Whether you're still engaging in gambling, and do they have to like really worry about you, doing it? And so that's what that's saying. They're going to give you a shot. It's just not going to be when you want it because you robbed yourself of that right. So, uh, so the impending legal battle in Sorsby, attorney Jeffrey Kessler, heavily criticized the decision, calling it a violation of the CBA and the law. He announced plans to immediately fight the ruling against the NFL Players Association. Uh, if he does that, he's doing himself a disservice. He's doing himself a disservice. One, you're going against the NFL. The NFL is their league. You can't tell them who should be in their league. It's their league. Especially when somebody has a reputation as Brenda Sorsby. It doesn't make sense. You can't tell somebody with a checkered past that. So the person with the checkered past is like, I should still be in the league. I know I missed the draft. I know I missed all the rookie mini caps, but I should still be in the league. So what? I got a checkered past. So what? I was gambling. So what? On my team, on other teams. So what? I bet on two chickens racing. So what? It matters because they go against the league rules. And having to worry about your reputation and your name as the NFL, they're not going to do that. And to be honest with you, again, he doesn't have the type of talent where he could just bogart his way into the league. Even if they deem him eligible, how many teams is going to be lined up to sign him? How many teams? And if he was able to be signed, it's not like he's getting a great deal anyway. He's going to get the type of deal where they can actually cut him the very next day. He's not going to get any guaranteed money. So you're doing this man a disservice when you're trying to fight against a system where they're giving you a pathway for next year. You can do more with somebody than against somebody, especially in the NFL. There's history of this. You're not going to tell the NFL as an individual what you're going to do. They'll get you up out of here, especially when you're not that good. Especially when you're not that good. Sorsby, serviceable, decent, maybe. The numbers is not impressive at all. In the eye test, there's several quarterbacks I'd rather have in college than him on my team, leading my team. NFL, we can't even get into an NFL conversation. If we can't get into a true college conversation, we can't get into a real NFL conversation. If we're talking about college quarterbacks right now, how many quarterbacks I would take over Brandon Sorsby? Again, this is not an attack on him. I'm talking about based on play. There's at least about 7 off the top of my head that I would rather have as my quarterback than Brandon Sorsby. So he's not special. So if he's not special in talent, he's not special as far as he's going to get all these ticket sales and people going to have this interest where they buy his jersey and all of these different things. And most importantly, he has a very checkered past that affects the game in itself. And gambling is heavily frowned upon in American sports because people gamble on the games. And mind you, this man is gambling and he's getting millions in NIL, which is crazy. People gamble so they can get their money up. He getting naturally NIL money and you don't have to gamble and you choose to do it. He has a problem. And you think you could bogart and tell the NFL, their league, what you want and want to do? Yeah, nah. So I just think it's kind of like nutty that he thought he could pull that off. Um, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Uh, the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing that could happen to a beginner is winning big or on the very first sports bet. Yeah, I mean this guy has that he's betted over thousands of times. They said that I thought it was hundreds of times. They said thousands. He's made thousands of bets. That means he has a problem. He probably betted on 2K games too, because they got 2K games you could bet on. You could bet on Madden, you could bet on all types of things. So that means this kid has a problem. And for his sake, I hope he gets it, obviously treatment for it, because gambling is a real addiction. It's a real addiction. But again, when you're an athlete and you're gambling, especially in a sport that you play in, especially on your team, dude, you lost the right to call your shots. Simple and plain. That's an easy call. Send him to Turkey. Easy call. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to wrap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get to find some movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of 4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Why did that disappear? Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, first hot topic of the night. Former Arby's manager Amanda Hendricks was arrested and charged with felony poisoning. Excuse me, with felony poisoning after surveillance footage caught her spitting onto a sandwich which a customer alleged caused them to contract oral herpes HSV1. Again, a former Arby's manager, Amanda Hendricks, was arrested and charged with the felony poisoning after surveillance footage caught her spitting onto a sandwich which a customer alleges caused them to attract oral herpes HSV1. I would love to know what y'all think about this in the chat. Are you sending her to Turkey or no? Are you sending her to Turkey or no? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. No, this is time to wrap. I said Turkey. This is time to wrap. But I would love to know what y'all think about this. I would love to know the location of the incident occurred March 28th at Arby's, a franchise location in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. The contamination of the customer, Jenica Church, ordered food late after a bartending shift. Restaurant surveillance footage shown Hendricks handling the sandwich and the meat slicer, uh, lowering her head and visibly dropping saliva directly onto the food. Whoa, whoa, oh my goodness. So her confession, when contacted by law enforcement, Hendricks skipped her scheduled station interview due to her lack of transportation, but explicitly admitted over the phone she was not going to waste my time. Yes, she did it, according to police affidavit. Wow, wow. So you work your shift on your job, get off work, you're hungry, you're tired, and you have to worry about somebody spitting in your food. And not to mention this lady, she had HSV. She had HSV1. And mind you, and I spoke about it before, 1 out of 4 adults has HSV. 1 out of 4 adults have it. So you working and busting your ass. You get some food before you go home, before you lay down, take a shower in the process, and you have to worry about somebody spitting in your food. And then, not to mention, this lady could have had kids. She could have had children. Parents and kids share things all the time. And that could have easily been passed on to her if she had children. This is easily a form of, I'm missing a word right now, but this is This is like assault. This is a form of assault. Like people handling food, and this is why people say like you have to be nice to the people handling your food. But what if the people handling your food is naturally having a bad day, and you're not contributing to them having a worse day? I said worse, a worse day. You're just there, and like you've ever gone to a restaurant and people are mad at you that you showed up. You're like, damn, I came to get something to eat. I'm here because I'm hungry. Like I didn't ask you to be here, but you know what I mean, like that type of energy. So can you imagine getting something to eat and contracting HSV through getting something to eat? This is a form of assault. Uh, Easily, this is a form of assault. Now, mind you, added on to this, the criminal charges Hendricks was booked into a McCarran County jail on felony charge of poisoning food with the intent to injure. Yeah, she intent to do that. She definitely did. That was her intention. The infection. Church ate the sandwich. Shared the meal with her family and subsequently developed several severe lip lesions. Oh my God. She tested positive for herpes simplex virus 1, commonly known as herpes or cold sores. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So she shared it with her family too. So luckily, some of her family didn't contract the virus, but damn. So you can't, like, you have to worry about getting something to eat. And I'm not speaking for myself because I don't even eat, fast food and none of that stuff like that. Because I'm not big on people handling my food. Even when I go to parties for real, I eat before I get to the parties. Most parties I get to, our friends make fun of me all the time. They're like, "Yo, we got some food in the back. I know you ain't gonna eat it, but there's some food in the back," because I'm very conscious of people on how they handle food and treat their food and what they put into their bodies. I care about what I put into my body. So at the end of the day, you see why. You see why. You see why. Now, mind you, that probably wasn't even her first thought. She could easily say, "Oh, I could have got this through a sexual encounter." It was that damn burger or that damn sandwich that she was eating. So can you imagine? Can you imagine? That's crazy. You really have to watch people now making your food. Like, and maybe it's just a New York thing. I don't think it's a New York thing, but like anytime I used to go to restaurants in my early 20s, I was very big on them when they had, I was very big on being able to see the kitchen, is the point that I'm making. It's like, yo, all right. You know what I mean? I was very big on that. If I couldn't see the kitchen at your restaurant, I'm not going there. I don't want it. I can see it. None of that. Even back in the day when I used to live in Brooklyn, eating Chinese food, I'm like, if your Chinese food didn't have an open spot where you could see the kitchen, yeah, nah. I'm dead serious. For stuff like this is assault. This is crazy. So now, moving forward, the civil lawsuit. Church and her family filed a civil lawsuit against Hendricks. The franchise owner, RB Arc Restaurants. I guess that's the Arby's actual name corporation and Arby's Corporated entities. Okay, so I adjusted that. The lawsuit alleges that the restaurant knowingly allowed Hendricks to work with an active, visible herpes outbreak and outbreak lesions. So that's why they also going after Arby's all in itself. Wow. Wow. And technically, um, I don't believe like they have to be safety precautions. If somebody has an outbreak, they can't necessarily fire her because she has herpes. They can't necessarily fire her for that because obviously it's none of their business. But at some point there has to be safety precautions if there's an outbreak. There has to be safety precautions. So With that being said, even if she did not have herpes and she still spat in your food, that's still disgusting. This is not disgusting because she has herpes or HSV. This makes it deplorable. This makes it even worse. The fact that she thought it was okay, regardless of whatever day she was having or y'all interaction, that she could spit in your food. That's never okay. Never okay. And I think that's happened to, like, you don't think it could happen to you, but it probably happened to a lot of us and we don't realize that it happened to us. We could have been short with somebody because we're frustrated because we want our food a certain way. Anything could happen, but when people handling your food, there has to be some sort of thing inside them. Be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do them like this. I know I could do them dirty right now. I know I could throw this meat on the floor, put my foot on it, pick it up, and throw the special sauce on it. I know I can do that, but I ain't gonna do them dirty. I'm not gonna do it. It has to be something inside you that that won't allow you to do something like that. That is nasty. That is nasty, and she deserves all that energy that she's about to get. Uh, yeah, and the thing is too, tampering with food is a serious violation of safety protocol because it matters. Same thing like going to the doctor. A doctor has to be able to treat patients regardless of their race or their background. You can't go up and be like, yeah, I don't treat brothers. I don't treat white people. Oh, no, I don't treat Indians. No, I don't treat this person or that. You can't doctor like that. You can't be a cop and be like, yeah, oh, is white folks there? Oh, okay, I could police it then. Oh, is brothers there? Oh, okay, I can police it. You can't police like that. You can't doctor like that. And you can't handle food like that. Crazy work. I'm glad she's getting that energy. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. A longtime radio TV personality, Big Tigger, was arrested on June 20th in Fulton County, Georgia. In Fulton County, Georgia, excuse me. He faces felony charges on aggravated battery and misdemeanor charges on third-degree cruelty to children. The 53-year-old former host of BT Rap City 106 in Park, whose legal name is Darren Morgan. I never knew that was released the same day after posting a $10,000 bond. According to police, the arrest warrant, the charges stem from a physical domestic dispute between Morgan and his wife, Alicia Brown, at their home in Sandy Springs. Uh, it escalated. The couple began arguing over texts that Brown discovered on Morgan's phone from a female coworker. The altercation, the arrest, the the warrant states that Morgan allegedly tackled Brown to the ground after she tried to snatch his phone, which went into the basement, no pun intended, to unplug his computer. Morgan allegedly restrained and pushed her, caused her to lose her her footing and crashed headfirst into an office door. The injury, Brown suffered a deep laceration, above her left eye that left her a permanent scar requiring treatment at Grady Memorial Hospital. The incident was captured in a home ring security camera, on a home ring security camera, I should have said. The child cruelty charge, the misdemeanor charge, was added because the couple 13-year-old son was upstairs in the home during the altercation and heard the entire event unfold. Morgan has categorically denied the allegations, addressing the situation on the radio station V103. I seen that as well. I seen when he did make that uh, statement, the radio, stating that these accusations that have been circulating are false. He was briefly pulled from the airwaves earlier in the month by the network owner Audacity through its current it excuse me, though it's currently unclear how his official arrest will impact his ongoing broadcasting position with V103, the Atlanta Falcons, or the Atlanta Hawks. So he worked for several different franchises, and they don't know what's going to happen moving forward. And I think they're waiting to hear what happens with the case before they make any type of decision with the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Falcons, and with V103. Basically, is the voice of Atlanta as far as radio, music, and things of that nature. So obviously, they're waiting on the case before any type of disciplinary action, before they do anything else regarding Big Ticket. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I will say this. First and foremost, when you're in a relationship, this is easier said than done. One, keep your hands to yourself. And this is not saying that he's guilty, that she's guilty, but first and foremost, keep your hands to yourself. And that doesn't just go for somebody's body. It goes to the things that are their possession as well. It's not your phone. Leave the phone alone. It's not your phone. Leave the phone alone. That extends past just the person. If you're with somebody and you have to go through their phone to realize whatever insecurity you have in your mind, because it is an insecurity to search somebody else's phone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're married, if you're in a long time relationship. If you search your partner's phone, it's a form of insecurity. And it's a form of insecurity in you, not them. Why do you need to search their phone to maintain trust? If there's something broken in the trust, you're not going to get that from the phone. Even if you, so if you don't find nothing in the phone, that's not going to stamp your curiosity whether you could trust them or not. So searching somebody's phone is an invasion of their privacy. Even when you're married, it's an invasion of privacy. Keep your hands to yourself and off my possessions. And that goes for both people. That's why I had to make that statement regarding that, because I don't want to make spurges on who's guilty and who's not. I wasn't there. This is just a statement. This is what they saying is alleged. These are his charges. But at the end of the day, keep your hands to yourself and off my property. It's so simple and so easy to, especially in a relationship, to throw it away. It's very hard to have the understanding that we have a problem here and we need to address it. Excuse me, we need to address it, even though it may be uncomfortable, but there has to be some sort of resolution, even if we have to agree to disagree, but it has to be respectful. There has to be boundaries. Without that, because you lack respect, when you take somebody's phone and go through it, you easily don't trust them and you easily are disrespecting them. That's a form of disrespect. That's not yours. That is not your possession. That is mine. Or vice versa. None of my exes could tell you the time I went through their phone. None of them. I don't do that. If I don't trust somebody, then we're not together anymore. If I can't trust you, I don't do that. Me personally, I don't look through my woman's phone. Any woman I've ever dealt with in the past, they will tell you I do not go through their phone. Why? I don't need to. I already know the type of woman that you are. And if I feel like you're sneaky, guess what? You're not going to be my woman anymore. It's just that simple. And I got that understanding from my father. I remember my father telling me a long time ago, not to go on a tangent, but my father told me a long time ago he was in love with a woman, um, and he couldn't wait to be grown so that way they could get their own everything. And he loved her so much, and she came to stay with him, and hopefully in hopes for her to stay. and he came home to a Dear John letter, right? And in that moment, I see my father basically revert to the 20-year-old version of himself when he told me that story, right? But what I got from that was people are going to be people when you're dealing with them. They're going to make their own decision. You can't convince somebody whether you're good or whether you're bad. They're going to believe whatever that they want to believe. And invading somebody's privacy is not going to give you the answer that you ever want, even if it does confirm it. You go through the person's phone and you don't find anything, you're still going to be like, damn, I didn't find nothing. Damn, they kind of slick. So you was looking to find something, which is an invasion of privacy and which is a form of disrespect. If you have to worry about your partner and other people hitting on them and whatever the case may be, then y'all should not be together if you cannot control your emotions. Now, obviously, some people believe because I've had an ex that believed that lack of emotion means you don't care about the situation, which is a toxic mindset. A lack of emotion is not allowing my emotions be the master of my actions. That's what that is. Because we want to have the uncomfortable conversation and be resolution based, even if we agree to disagree. You could avoid being arrested, looking at charges. And now what makes this sad, they charging him with child cruelty and all this is going down. They don't charge his wife child cruelty because the 13-year-old son was there. So both of them should be charged with child cruelty. If that's the case, that's their son. So I don't understand that particular part as far as the child cruelty charge regarding their situation. But again, keep your hands to yourself. My possession is not yours. You don't gain ownership of it. If you have to go through my phone, it's a form of disrespect to me and a lack of trust. And this says more about the person that's looking through the phone than the person phone is being looked through. There's an insecurity that that person they can't do nothing about. That's all in you. That's why I don't go through nobody's phone. I don't got the time. There's not enough hours in a day for me anyway. And the last thing I'm gonna do is look through her phone. If I get the spidey senses, I got amazing spidey senses. If I feel like somebody is doing something wrong, I'm gone. This ain't it. So it's unfortunate that they're going through this situation. This type of situation may lead to obviously a permanent separation of the married couple. They've been married for a little while, which is unfortunate because they do have a 13-year-old son, and it will tear up their family fabric on what he thought their family was about. So, but the most important thing is that that child understand that it's not his fault. So, um, they both grown, they both figure it out, but it's unfortunate that it hit the court system and they just gonna have to deal with it moving forward. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic in time to wrap. 2026 murder rates as of June 1st in 2026, the top 12 cities. Okay, and this is the city, the murder, and how many people that's in the city, which matters. So you got New York City coming in at number one with 94 murders, unfortunately. But New York City has 8.9 million people there. So 94 is a lot, but you got 8.9 people there. So, I mean, I don't want to say that's not a lot because it's June. Like these are numbers that's reported at June 1st. And these are people that lost their family members. So I don't want to say that's not a lot, but it's compared to how many people that's in the city. That's high, but that's not a lot compared to how many people you have in the city, in my opinion. Los Angeles, they're at 104 million, uh, but they only have 3.8 million people in Los Angeles. Now that is high. You have 104 and only have 3.8 people million. Excuse me, only have 3.8 million people in the city. That's high. 104 as of June 1st. Chicago is up at 162. They only have 2.6 million. Houston is up at 68. They have 2.3, which is, I would say, on par. Um, Philadelphia is at 58. They have 1.5 million. Dallas have 77. That's high. They only have 1.3. San Jose, which I'm very surprised San Jose, California is up here. They have nine. They have nine, but they only have 1 million people there. Austin, Texas, 28, and they have 1 million people there as well. San Francisco has 17. They have 850,000 people there. Seattle has 15. Only have 800,000 people there. Los Angeles has 15, 800,000 people, and Atlanta has 37, only have 500,000 people on here. So basically, per city and the actual murder and how many people you have here, Atlanta, that's high. Atlanta's high. They have 37 murders, but you only have 500,000 people there. That's high. That is very high. When you think of Dallas having 77, they only have 1.3 million people there. That is high. Houston, 68, 2.3. That I think that's high, but that's kind of on par though. Obviously Chicago is you you got 162 murders and you only have 200, excuse me, you only have 2.6 million people there. LA, 104, and you have 3.8 million people there. And when you hear those numbers, now when you compare to New York, that do have 94 murders, but you have 8.9 million people there. 8.9. So it's not that high compared to how many people that's there. And the scary part about this is that most people will hear these numbers and think it's like a cool thing, like the murder rate and the dangerous rate. That's not a cool thing. Like we do this thing on social media, like, yeah, you can't come over here with that. We get busy over here at night. We unlive people over here at night. Yeah, that's what we do over here. That's jail culture. And the only reason why that goes viral is because the algorithm wants people to think that's a thing. To what? Fuel jail culture. You don't think that jails have deals with these social media platforms to up the jails? And how do you do that? You push through the negative stereotypes that people make on videos. You don't hear people going viral because they got a 4.0 average and they got accepted into all the schools that they've been into. You don't see those type of videos go viral every day. You don't see these things go viral every day because that doesn't contribute to jail culture. But when you get people from this city to be like, yeah, no, we have the most murder rates, in the history and for the last 10 years, and thinking that's something to champion when the community is already underserving, is already being underserved. And what do you think that does? That lowers the property value down. What do you think that does? That brings rich people in to buy up the property and get you up out of there. All of that is a part of the plan. So you have people making the money on the property side, and you got people making money on your dumbass getting arrested and going to jail. We just seen the kids that unalive Julio getting all types of time, and these kids is like, hey yo, it ain't worth it. All my Gen X's or all the generations out there, hey, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Cause they're about to do hard time and hard labor on top of that. It's not worth it. So it's very scary when people hear these numbers. They think it's something to champion. Like it's cool to unalive people. Now, I have a saying: stay dangerous and don't stay safe. And the reason why you stay dangerous so people could respect the fact that, hey, you respect me, I'm gonna respect you, and we're gonna have peace and harmony around here, right? But it's not a thing as a flex to say that you unalive this person and unalive that person, so I should be respected. And most of the people you unalive is civilians. These are not like hardcore people that need to be up out of here. And the crazy thing is, you unalive people that real talk. If y'all had a conversation, that's not something to be unaliving somebody about. They didn't hurt your family. They didn't hurt you in any type of way. It's one thing to protect yourself, but damn, like this is getting out of hand. So this is why these murder rates matter. Because when people hear this, they go, "Oh, who number one?" And our community loves that dangerous, that I won't say dangerous because that's not the same vein, but they love that murderous mentality to think that that's something to champion. That's not nothing to champion at all. Again, hit them likes, y'all. Hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. I'm Ashley Lovechild, Ken and Brothers Get a Rap podcast. If this your first time tuning and tapping in, we're on episode 271. That's a lot of episodes, y'all. I drop videos daily and continue to engage. I've been seeing y'all engagements. I do get in the chat and get it. I do jump in the comments and show love back in the comments, unless it's stupid. If you say something that's trolling, I'll probably delete it or just leave it. But even if I disagree, I'll still jump in the chat and we can have a respectful discussion, disagreement, or whatever. So I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in as always. Y'all been amazing, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all been amazing. Shout out to Ebony. She up here cooking. She up here cooking. It's a massive felony charge. This isn't a minor dispute. The courts are taking it seriously. The focus now turns to the court proceedings where all evidence will be presented and evaluated. It's terrifying on how many arguments in tragedy now instead of people just walking away. Because, see, the stay dangerous thing, when I say stay dangerous, is meaning just stay prepared, right? People have to respect the fact that you could protect yourself. Protect yourself. But a lot of people, when they argue, and it does turn into these unalivings, because I have to be careful with the wording, on YouTube. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Like it, and again, I hate saying New York because, like being from Brooklyn, you can hear two people just regularly talking, and it will sound like an argument in Brooklyn. And they're just talking. It's just super aggressive. It's super aggressive, but they just talking. And when you go to other places, every place they mix it up a little different. But the point that I'm making is it doesn't have to result into people losing their life. And it's literally over nothing. Having a disagreement with somebody, that's not you unaliving people because you have a disagreement. And then when you argue, when it goes a step higher, it goes past the disagreement. Like, you keep it up, I'll slap your ass. Then it gets higher and higher. You slap me, I'm gonna shoot you. Which is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. I heard some rapper say that if you punch me real hard and it hurt, then I'm gonna shoot you. Which is one of the scariest things. I'm trying not to say the word, but it's one of the most punk moves you can make. One of the most punk moves you can make. If you sign up for a fight, fight. If you lose, you lose. When you fight a fight, the purpose of fighting a fight is not necessarily about winning and losing. You want to win. It's the purpose of people understanding that you're going to stand for something. That's what that's about. You fight, you win some and you lose some, and if you win all, then great. But at the end of the day, the other person has to respect you as a person, as a man, that you are willing to stand up for something. If you lose, you don't go back and get a gun to unalive him because you're embarrassed. That's a punk move. That's a weak mindset because you signed up for the fight. You signed up for the fight. Now, if you didn't sign up for the fight and this, that, and the third, that still doesn't give you the right to unalive somebody, but they have to respect you. That's what staying dangerous means. People being able to respect you, not unalive them. So I agree with you, Ebony. I agree with you, Ebony. Shout out to Ebony in the chat. She been cooking all night in the chat. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But at the end of the day, you have people that do move like that. If you sign up for that, then be about that action, boss. People are losing their lives over minor disagreements, traffic disputes, simple misunderstandings. I agree. I agree. And we see it all the time. And we see it all the time on social media. We see it all the time on social media. Like, at the end of the day, what is it going to take for us to realize that the things that we do and how we're moving as a culture 10 years from now, 10 to 20 years from now, it won't matter. It won't even matter tomorrow. It won't matter next week. Like, I love this show called Fatal Attraction, right? And then one of the reasons why I love this show is because we see all these things that happen that didn't need to happen, but excuse me, they document the timeline. So when things happen in 2006 and people go to jail and they get 20 years. So imagine somebody getting 20 years back in 2006. And I'm like, damn, it's 2026. They coming home this year. And whether they unalive somebody, whether they did somebody dirty, it wasn't worth it, is the point that I'm making. When you live long enough and you realize there are things to die for and there's way more things to live for. And majority of these disputes, and when you hear people talk about the things that they went at it for, it has nothing, like it's crazy. It's not even worth the time. Dying for your family, for their safety, I get it. I get it. That's something that you put your life on the line for. Dying for your community and the betterment of your community, the kids in your community, I definitely understand that. Because you want to see your community be better, you want to see yourself be better, you want to see all that be better. That's something to really put your life on the line for. What that means is we see all these racist people out here and things of that nature. That's where you put the belt to ass, because we already know racism already comes from a form of destruction of people being scared. That's how racism is formed, because people are scared. If you're not scared, then you won't have a reason to hate somebody. It's all about confidence. So whew, these murder rates is crazy, especially in some of these states. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. A Florida hip hop artist pioneer, Uncle Luke, is running for U.S. Congress. Luther Uncle Luke Campbell is officially on the ballot to run for the U.S. House of Representatives in Florida's 20th congressional district. Um, what else we have here? Uh, the seat Campbell is running to represent a heavily Democratic, excuse me. It represented is heavily Democratic leaning district that it ran. Why did it run on? Okay, so it came back. Um, so it's for parts of Broward County, excuse me, Palm Beach counties. Campbell stated that he is not looking to be a career politician, but wants to use his lifelong experience of investing in local youth and building programs to bring tangible results to the South Florida area. Basically, his biggest uh, focal points or emphasis is affordable housing, economic development, youth opportunity, and support for seniors and veterans. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Uncle Luke, man. Uncle Luke is a real pioneer of hip hop, a real pioneer. Again, me being from Brooklyn, New York, I know about Uncle Luke when I was a child. I know about him when I was a child, a baby. My brother had his tapes and things of that nature, because back then, back in the late 80s, early 90s, they had cassette tapes, and he had some of the wildest tapes. And then, of course, my brother was much older. You see him in the back, right? He's 11 years older than me. and he had access to the videos, to the real Luke videos, if you know what I'm saying. And I say all that to say this is why it's important not to unalive people. You have to see your life be full because you just never know where you're going to end up. It's very important that any type of disputes you get into as a kid, let it be that dispute, even if you get into a fight or two, right? It's the fight. You're not coming back to unalive somebody because, again, by next week, it won't matter. So now you fast forward 20 years, 30 years of your life, and you could do things that could impact your community in a positive way. You'll be surprised what you can do when you realize what is it there to live for. And his point of emphasis, I can definitely get behind. I'm really like impressed at his initiative and him basically going to do this. And I think he has a great chance, obviously, because he is Uncle Luke. He's very visible, especially in South Florida, not just in hip hop ranks, but in South Florida. He's been a part of the community of the football community. He's always been a part of the youth and the college programs. If you do your research on Uncle Luke or Luke Campbell, um, outside of entertainment. So the fact that he's pushing for affordable housing, economic development, youth opportunity, and support for seniors and veterans, I think that's a point of emphasis for all underserved communities, not just in the South Florida area, but he's focusing on that because that's his area. But that's a point of concern for all underserved communities in all 50 states. Because as you get older, and we all get older, that's the purpose of living, is to get old. I hate when people say, "Oh, you get old." Yeah, I just had another birthday. I was supposed to have another birthday, enjoy my birthday, right? But affordable housing does matter, and affordable housing doesn't mean or should not be relegated to hood, dirty, underserving. Just be happy that you had that type of mentality. Quality affordable housing. So I love that. Economic development, which also matters. You want to be in a community where if you need a job, you could go in the community and get a job and be able to pay your bills with said job and have the development, not just working the job, but being able to advance within the company or on that job to make what? More money. So I love that. I love the fact that he's making that point of emphasis now. And as far as youth opportunity, I think the youth have a whole lot of opportunity, way more opportunities when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure way more when he was a kid. But do that mean that we hit a wall? No. So the fact that he's pushing this, I love that as well too, because we're going into a different age, slowly but surely. We're going into a different age, right? In my era, it was the stress of computers. When I was a little kid, everybody didn't have a computer. It was like, yo, you got a computer. By the time became a teenager, now everybody had a computer. By the time I became a teenager, for sure, right? Teaching computer classes when I was in junior high school, right? And now we're in an advanced state. Now we have AI, or they're making it available AI because they could profit from it. But they've had AI since the 90s, to be honest with y'all. It's a way of profiting from it, right? But again, it's moving into a different space and it will continue to move into a different space. So the fact that he wants to emphasize use, ooh, excuse me, the fact that he wants to emphasize youth opportunity is outstanding as well. And support for the seniors and the veterans. Again, we all going to get older. We all going to need that support. We're all going to need reduced rent or reduced housing or reduced mortgages or whatever the case may be. Because the older that you get, the more money that you do make. But once you become a senior citizen for real, once you cap out, You want to sit down and retire somewhere, or you want to manage your bills based on your living style. And again, I love the fact, especially for veterans too, because veterans, they could go, I don't want to say fight a war, but yeah, they could go fight a war, they could list, and they could be in service. But once they come home, it's like, where's the love? Like, I'm pretty sure they could appreciate people say, thank you for your service, thank you for your service. I'm pretty sure they would be thankful for a damn job that they could work and continue to put food on their table. You have plenty of veterans that suffer medically because of, part of coming home. They don't get the support that's needed for them to go back into the real world, and they coming home highly trained, highly educated. So where's the support? So again, I love all the point of emphasis that he's hitting as far as his campaign and points of emphasis for why he's running uh, for excuse me, um, running for the Congress seat, uh, the U.S. running for the U.S. Representative in Florida for the 20th congressional district. So I like his viewpoint on that. So shout out to Uncle Luther Campbell. Shout out to Uncle Luke, man. Shout out to him. And for years, it's crazy. And I know it must trip him out because I believe Uncle Luke is probably somewhere in his late 50s. He has to be in his late 50s. But I'm pretty sure it has to be a trip to him again from when he started as a rapper, artist, and you know, having to fight for his rights in the music space as well as us. Like, the reason most artists don't realize, a lot of the reason, one of the biggest reasons we can say what we say on our music now is because of Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell. So shout out to Uncle Luke, man. I hope he wins, and I wish him all the best regarding that. I really do. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic in time to rap. And if this is your first time tuning in, tapping in, again, I'm Ashley Lovechild, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, episode 271. We're on every Sunday, every Wednesday at 10:30, and I appreciate y'all for pulling up on your boy. And if you want to reach out to me off the show, you can hit me on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. Everything Ashley. If you type in Ashley Lovechild, all my handles will pop up on everything. So, all right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. NBA draft is in the books. 2026 NBA draft. It went down last night, and round two happened tonight as well. So, uh, so Washington Wizards with their first pick went with AJ the Banter. Uh, number two pick, Utah Jazz went with Darren Peterson. Memphis for their number third pick went with Carlos Boozer. Chicago Bulls with their fourth pick went with the, sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, my bad. So with the sixth pick, excuse me, with the fourth pick, Chicago Bulls took Caleb Wilson. With the fifth pick, the Clippers take Keaton Wagler. My Brooklyn Nets with the sixth pick took Mikel Brown Jr. So it was a great draft, to be honest with you. A lot of teams did benefit and did get better. My Brooklyn Nets, I'm rocking the jersey, supporting my Brooklyn Nets, supporting my Nets. I really liked our draft and what we did. The second round, I like what we did in the second round, but we still didn't address one of our needs. Shout out to the Michigan Wolverines. They had three players that went in the first round. Morez Johnson Jr. He went to Dallas. Yaxel Londonborg went to Golden State. And Adai Amaro went to OKC. That they was picked at what 9, 11, and 12. Back to my Brooklyn Nets, we took Mikel Brown Jr. I think this was the most juniors we've ever had in the draft. There was a whole lot of juniors, but Mikel Brown Jr. Went with our first pick, point guard for the future, and now I think he's a day one starter. And I love his upside. He's a killer. He's young, and I think he's going to be amazing moving forward. Um, we did take Joshua Jefferson with the 28th pick, which again was a very great pick in my opinion. A really good pick, solid pick, 6'9", 245 swing, four man or stretch four man. Uh, but he's big. He got an NFL, an NBA body, excuse me. And to me, his ability to pass. He can score. He averaged damn near 17 points this past year. So to me, I look at him as a day one rotational piece. I don't like him at the center position. I hope we don't use him as a center on if we're playing against teams with bigs. I like him at that four spot. Um, in our second round, we did get Isaiah Evans, 6'6", 180 pounds, two guard from Duke. That was major. That was major. If you know, you know. Evans averaged what 6 to 7 threes a game at Duke this year. 6 to 7 threes a game. So I think we really got a nice piece at that two guard position because we need shooting. I kept saying in free agency we need to bring in a guy like Luke Kennard because we need shooting on our team, and I think that addressed that in that regard. My computer just went out on me, so I can't mention the other guys that we drafted, but we did get a big man from UCLA. I can't think of his name right now, and the reason why that was disappointing because he plays as a stretch four instead of a guy that rebounds and shot block. We still missing a true five, a true big that could shot block and rebound. So I think that hurts our team, uh, quite a bit that we don't have that. So that's the only reason why I say I would draft in itself as far as the Brooklyn Nets. Um, I would give us a grade at a B plus overall. We addressed our point guard need. We got somebody that's gonna start day one. Our two guard in the second round could possibly start for the future. He hit 6 or 7 threes a game in his last year, 6'6", and he's not bad defensively too. And if we stress it, we could really improve him defensively. But he has the size, 6'6", 180. Put a little weight on him too, So I like that aspect. Again, Joshua Jefferson, a day one rotational piece for me. I love that pickup. He could score a little bit, but he has the NBA size at that four position. You're not gonna play bully ball with us, but we have to address getting a true big. We don't have a true big on our team. All of our guys are not shot block. The bigs that we have on our team, they're not real rim protectors for real, and they're not live threats. And we need that in the East. We need that. If we don't have that, we need to find it. We need to find it. But we're building our team, and I like what we did in the draft overall. So I give us a solid B plus overall. So shout out to my Brooklyn Nets. We did not mess this up. I kept saying it. Don't mess this up. You can't mess this up. And I kept stressing that. So I'm proud of my Nets for actually getting this draft a good draft. Last year's draft was, oh my goodness. It was a lot of missteps in last year's draft. So I'm glad we was able to make it up. And we did the damn thing. Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in, man. Y'all been absolutely amazing. I appreciate your support each and every episode. Episode 271. Again, we're on every Wednesday, every Sunday at 10:30 p.m. I'm Ashley Lovechild, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. And remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Do not try to stand out by being negative. That's what I call stains. have the ability to stand up by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Hate has a location. It's just not here. And again, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, make sure you tap into OUV Records at Instagram. Make sure you stay tuned into the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all stay in tune to OUV Records. And again, ain't nothing but the best for y'all. Love y'all. As always, I'm going to see y'all this Sunday. Sunday, right around the corner, too. So I'm going to see y'all real soon. And remember, y'all drop videos daily, so continue to show engagement. And I appreciate y'all. We just went over the 14,000 mark for the subscribers list. Take advantage of those memberships, and we're gonna continue to climb together. Love, and I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.